Welcome to RE Uncut. Our daily shows are supported by Printforce, Shore Agents, Rockend and CoreLogic.
Hello once again. Dean Yeo has as his guest all this week Shannan Whitney. Shannan formed a partnership with the fellow agent from the same office as we heard yesterday. And today Shannan explains to Dean Yeo how he and his new partner Ivan Bresic realised that there was a bit of a gap in the industry and they set about filling it. They were in fact way ahead of their time, as you'll hear in just a moment when Dean Yeo talks to Shannan Whitney. Back in a minute.
Outsourcing will dramatically improve your productivity and profitability. Shore Agents have created a staffing solution to provide great staff who can perform duties in property management, sales, marketing and administration, and at a fraction of the cost, giving you and the team more time to spend on the dollar productive tasks. With rising costs and slowing revenue, the focus must be on value for money. Check it out, shoreagents.com.
G'day Shannan, it's Dean. Thank you very much for day 2. Welcome back.
Nice to see you, Dean.
Now this one is, what is the connection between lifestyle and property? How did you marry that up together?
Yeah, it's a good question. If I go back to yesterday's conversation, you asked me about what did we do to reinvent.
Yes.
I don't think, and I mentioned that I didn't think reinvention was the right word. What we observed and perhaps what we saw in the real estate space was a very homogenous and uninspiring, kind of scenario or landscape.
Yeah.
For me, what I was observing was that real estate as a service and real estate as a business and a brand would ignore any type of general society, kind of trends or what was going on, in particular communities or in particular lifestyles. And as a result, their brands and businesses weren't responding at all to anything outside kind of real estate solutions. So in every other industry and all around us, that was not what other industries were doing. Other industries were responding to lifestyle and really looking at how a particular brand or particular business or service might interact with broader society or culture. Real estate wasn't doing that. We're all the same, we look the same, we sound the same, we smell the same. So I think what we did was we took our community, we took our lifestyle, which is inner city Sydney, and we asked the question, what can we do as a business and a brand to connect with that better and in a more aligned way than what we were doing now? So a whole lot of things come out, in terms of that. How do you communicate to people? What's your tone of voice? What's the experience they have in a visual sense? How do they experience you digitally? What's the human experience? And if you start to ask all those questions, you start to kind of really sort of ask, really as real estate agents and real estate businesses, do we do that well? And I guess from our point of view, we didn't think we did. So as a business, we started to not just consider that as a concept, but we broke down the channels, we broke down the ways that we can connect with our customer, and we really started to redo and reshape what all those look like. So we're known as, in the real estate space, as being somewhat creative. And perhaps being a little bit different, a little bit more visually sensitive. Actually not sure whether that's the case. I think what we are, we're a little more aware of how we interact with our customer. And I think that we're probably the first business to really kind of unravel that and break that down and look at the different ways that we should do that as opposed to simply doing it because our real estate peers do it.
What do you mean by you're aware? Like, as in become more sensitive to them, or what? Or asking them questions, or what do they actually want? Or
I think what we do is that mostly from a service delivery perspective and also from a brand positioning perspective, we tend to do it the way that we want them to receive it, not necessarily how they want to receive it. And I think what we tend to do, if you look today at our content strategy from agents, it's purely around what house I've listed and what house I've sold.
Yep.
Now, I don't think that that's really considerate and thinking too much about what actually does the audience want to hear from us. What is the content that we should be delivering to them, and how do we deliver it? Yep. We still do mostly the same things. We still use the same content. You often use the same mediums and platforms in which to deliver.
Yeah, you have the same tools as everybody else, but you're certainly nowhere near the same. And your ability to be able to emotionally connect. You know, I know as a potential buyer or a potential landlord that I love looking at the stuff that you do. I love the email newsletter. I love that side of it, and I just think that emotional connection and the detail that you do in the photos that you take,
right?
You know, what you leave out is just as much as what you put in, I think, and that's certainly.
Exactly. And I think what we did, in that regard, what we did very well is, as a real estate agent, we would, in that transition from print to digital, the digital space, what I guess what a lot of people hadn't realized is that we were now all featured on the same platform, and we're all featured in the same template, and we're all featured in the same way. There was no level of differentiation whatsoever.
Yep.
The question was that the real estate industry would simply say, this is how we want to communicate to you. This is how we do communicate to you. And because my colleague does it that way, I'm going to do it that way. The reality was that wasn't effective and good quality visual delivery. It was quite poor, and it was done in a way that real estate agents thought they should deliver it, not in a way that consumers perhaps would respond to it differently. So we decided we would explore that and come up with different ways that we thought might engage an audience better.
And I think you've done a bloody good job. So on day 2, thank you very much. Look forward to day 3. Cheers.
All right, thank you.
The daily RE Uncut shows are supported by Printforce, Shore Agents, Rock End and CoreLogic. RE Uncut is one of the anchor shows at retplus.com, the home of property.